every note in the scale, um, when they first started naming the notes of the scale as in order, they had their technical terms. And what they did was they had a tonic note being the root note or the first note. They had a supertonic. They had a mediant. They had a subdominant, a dominant, a submediant, a leading note, back to the tonic again. Very confusing. You can, if you study theory, this is one of the things that they make you learn, and the reason being is, each one of these notes, the different configurations of these notes makes chords or makes different intervals and things like that. The dominant note, being the 5, is probably the only one that really stood the test of time, and that's because the dominant 7th chord is very popular. So when they say dominant 7th, they just mean the 5 chord made 7th. So that's the only one that really comes into play. For all intensive uses, we're going to look at it as numbers, because 1 to 7 is a lot easier to remember than you're going to go from the tonic note to the supertonic to the immediate note. It's just too confusing. So we're going to look at it in a numeric value as opposed to their technical terms. So why do we have these intervals? All of them come into play. When you start doing intervals, if you play classical guitar, those intervals are extremely important because of harmonies and things like that. If you play chords, it's a series of intervals that build that chord. If you're a singer, it's from this note to this note. That interval is your harmony. So understanding what notes those are to be able to find what you're looking for sometimes is extremely important. I was talking about shredders, guys that just like to rip really, really fast and play those crazy, crazy arpeggios. Arpeggios are just a series of intervals. So when I talk about harmonies, you get into guys like Bach, and Bach was all harmonies. That was his big thing. He played thirds and fifths, and he loved that kind of harmony because it just sounded so naturally sweet.